Welcome to the channel. This is Coach Charles on the Soccer Benchmark. I had promised to provide a five things affair. What we actually learned from that Manchester United Bodo Glimt game. But apparently there was just so much in my diary, I could not be able to do it immediately. However, a promise once made has to be kept, and that is exactly what I'm doing now. So Manchester United Bodo Glimt was one of those games everyone was excited about because it was Ruben Amorim's Old Trafford bow. It was his first game at Old Trafford, and Old Trafford is a bloody interesting environment to be in. So the coach had to be ready for this. In fact, his reception was just wonderful. The fans already have a song for this guy, and why not? Because what he's proving to most of the fans is that he's able to communicate what he wants, and he's able to pass that to the players. He's able to effect games and so much. So there are a lot of things that happened in that game, but we're only going to focus on the five things that Manchester United game against Bodo Glimt brought out. And the first one, uh, Amorim tactical flexibility. This dude is flexible. He's flexible, and we love that about a coach. Because if you watch this game from the beginning to the end, you realize that no one could predict who is gonna start. No one could predict who is gonna play at the wing backs, who is gonna be the main attacker, who are going to be the double sixes. And that is exactly what we love about a coach. A coach who cannot be predicted, and he's very flexible about his ways. And if you look at the beginning of that game, United basically started on a 3-4-3, and that is a system that he wants to play, and he's really adamant about it. He wants to build it at the moment so that when the season ends, United are ready to just roll on. And that is what we saw. However, during the game, you will be able to see that once the second half started, Amorim decided to bring in Dalot, and Dalot created a situation whereby when we have the ball, he was always an extra attacker. He was always an extra offensive player. But when we lost the ball, the system reverted to a 4-2, 3-1 probably, and that is exactly what we saw. And it was interesting to watch how the system kept changing every time we had the ball and every time we missed, we didn't have the ball, and that creates a lot of trust, more so on the fan side, because we were worried that in the Premier League you'll be run over when you play that 3-4-3 system. But we realized that the coach is flexible enough to be able to effect changes in play or in game. While the game is continuing, he's able to make changes or instruct players to create different systems in the game. And that is something that is really exciting going forward. Number two, square pegs in round holes. There were a lot of square pegs in round holes, and that I mean players who are playing in the wrong position. Mazrui is one of them. Ahmad was another one later in the game. Anthony was another one in the game. Mount, another player playing in a position that is not used to. Bruno Fernandes as a six, deep lying six. That is another position that he rarely plays. Malasia in the first half, you could see that he was playing on a different position because he was always high up at the pitch. Later, we saw Casemiro in defense and Luke Shaw also in central defense, and these are just square pegs in round holes, and they worked. And once in a while, a team needs players who are able to play multiple positions. And I think before Morin came, there were a lot of doubts about the players and how they're going to fit into the system. But you can see the coach is able to trust these players to be able to play multiple roles at different positions, and they actually delivered. So going forward, I think that Manchester United just looks exciting. Everyone is excited, and everyone always is anticipating the next game after next game after next game. And I being one of them, I think this is going to be a nice, interesting period for Manchester United. Uh, Another thing that we saw is Anthony, Malasia, and Mount. I think this was a moment for them to really grasp, take their chances. I don't know whether Anthony did much did much to be considered for future games, but he did his part. His ratings were not bad. He was able to track back. He was able to hold on to the ball. What I realized that he could not be able to dribble past his markers. Uh, Mount was another player that did really well. In fact, I was really happy about Mount's inclusion in the game, and he almost missed. He almost scored a goal when he hit the bar uh, in the game, and that shows that this is a player that is able to do much. Only if he can get his fitness back. Once he gets a lot of games in his legs, I think he'll be able to just come back to the Mount that we know. Because this is a player, there is a really good player in Mason Mount, and that is something that United are really banked on. And I think going forward, we still need Mount to be able to be ready for games, because if you look at Manchester United, he's the only player who can play where Bruno plays. And by bringing Mount in, I think we are trying to ease him into the game, and he did well. The other player that didn't take his chances, but he had a lot of it, is Malacia. I think being 1 year, 1.5 years away from the game also takes a toll. But he did well. He did averagely. I wish he could be able to make many crosses into the six. But anyway, that is what happened. And these are players that we need, and we need them fit. Number 4, Hojlund Supreme. This kid just made my day. He made my night, because when the game was being played, it was way late in the night back here. So Hojlund really did well. He was able to press. He was able to keep the keeper honest. He was able to keep the defenders honest by always constantly pushing them, uh, looking for those opportunities. And you saw what happened. United were able to get a goal in the first 50 seconds, and that is quite interesting. He made the keeper look uh, really stupid because he pressed him and finally got the ball. In fact, if if Garnacho hadn't scored that goal, I think United were going to get a penalty, because the keeper had already grabbed onto Hojland. But his general play, the second goal was also beautiful. His general play was really good, and you could see at the end of the game, he was really tired. Now, the fifth, and I consider this the most important thing that we learned in this game, is that the system works. The 3-4-3 system works. But if players are able to be very disciplined, they're able to be conscious about where they are and what they're doing. Because you realize the goals that these guys scored, Bruno was late to be able to press this particular scorer, because you realize that Ugarte had already moved away from the center, so it is Bruno's role to be able to be present. So the system works, and if these players can buy into what the coach is trying to do, I think we are going to have a very good season, a roller coaster season. And Everton should really watch out. Thank you for watching. This is Coach Charles on the Soccer Benchmark. If you've not subscribed to this channel, we're building it day by day. Take a minute and subscribe. Give a like, give a comment, and share widely. And let's keep playing football the winning way.